Welcome to The Know, I'm Mica. In addition to showing off Mario's glorious canonical nips, yesterday's Nintendo Direct also brought a whole bunch of really cool announcements to look forward to for the fall. We got the reveal of Minecraft and Mario Party, the top 100 for the 3DS, as well as more of a look at Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. On the Switch front, we got release dates for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, December 1st, and Skyrim, November 17th, and new content announced for both ARMS and Splatoon this week. Plus the addition of Lyn to the cast of Fire Emblem Warriors and new champion amiibos for Breath of the Wild. But maybe the biggest surprises came from Bethesda, who unveiled Switch ports for both Doom and Wolfenstein 2. The Doom port will include all of the DLC from the first game, as well as a separate downloaded multiplayer mode. It will, however, be missing Snap mode. No release dates on either of those, but Doom will be out this holiday season, and Wolfenstein 2 will be out in 2018. Will Origin one day go the way of Netflix? Well, that seems to be the case according to some new comments made by EA. VP of Investor Relations Chris Evenden said at the Deutsche Bank Technology Conference that the company is gearing up to take their services beyond their EA Access program. Evenden told the audience, "I think it's inevitable that the gaming entertainment world will move in much the same way that the music and video entertainment worlds have already moved, in the sense that people will have moved from an ownership model to an access model, and you'll see that in gaming just as you've seen it with Spotify and Netflix and other media businesses." He went on to say, "Right now, if you want to play FIFA in the United States, it'll cost you $460. To buy the game, you have to buy the console. In a streaming world, it could be $9.99 a month." The big roadblock for EA at the moment is the cloud infrastructure, but Evenden says that's rapidly changing. So, who knows? Maybe in a few years you could be streaming all your brand new EA games and paying monthly for subscriptions, because that's what everybody wants, Sims Monthly. A new Fallout 4 mod has a novel way of dealing with Bethesda's controversial Creation Club by getting rid of it entirely. The mod doesn't erase Creation Club from the game, but it does remove the news ticker in the upper right cover of the menu, which means you can just pretend it doesn't exist. And that's what a lot of gamers would like to do, considering that Creation Club basically makes you pay for mods that are free elsewhere. Needless to say, the new mod has been popular. It's been downloaded about 10,000 times since it was released last month. Controversial 2D religious fighting game Fight of Gods has already landed trouble in at least one country, and it was recently banned from Malaysia, but now it's finding new trouble in Thailand. According to the game's developer P-Cube, they've been contacted by the government's authorities about removing the game from sale. P-Cube wrote, "After careful consideration and consultation, we have started the proceedings to remove Fight of Gods from sale in Thailand. We wish to thank all of our fans in the affected regions for the support you have shown us." This went off with a bit less of a hitch than it did the last time around when Malaysia banned Fight of the Gods. They took down all of Steam in order to stop the game from being sold. Whenever a big game ships out of a developer, it's not uncommon to see some of its leads move on to greener pastures. That looks to be the case with Naughty Dog, where longtime studio lead Bruce Straley has just announced that he'll be parting ways with the company after 18 years. Straley played a major role in some of the studio's biggest games, serving as the co-director on Uncharted 2, Uncharted 4, and The Last of Us. He wrote in a blog post on Naughty Dog's website, "This has been the hardest decision of my career. Naughty Dog is home. The kennel is family. I've learned and grown so much from working with this incredible team, but after heading up 3 extremely demanding projects and taking some extended time away from the office, I found my energy focusing in on other directions, and I slowly realized this was the best signal that it's time to move on. Best of luck to you, Straley. We look forward to seeing what you help create next." Every company has an origin story. Lots of them start out in garages, but Blizzard apparently began with a loan from a grandmother. Yesterday, in a BlizzCon pre-show livestream, CEO and President Mike Morhaime revealed that he borrowed $15,000 from his grandmother in 1991 to help start what would become one of the biggest companies in gaming. He showed off a scrap of paper that detailed the terms of the loan from his grandmother, Mildred Miller. According to the terms, Morhaime agreed to pay the loan back in $100 monthly installments, interest-free. He said, "My grandparents were always just very supportive. She wasn't a gamer, she didn't play our games, but I know she was always so proud of everything I did. And she didn't even charge him interest." Grandparents are just the best. I wonder if she gave him like cookies along with the $15,000. That would be cute. Speaking of Blizzard, if you're wondering why Overwatch updates are taking so long, the company has an answer for you: toxic players. In a recent video, the game's director Jeff Kaplan says that trying to deal with shitlord players has slowed the game's development and the creation of new features. Kaplan said, "We want to make new maps, we want to make new heroes, we want to make animated shorts, but we've been put in this weird position where we're spending a tremendous amount of time and resources punishing people and trying to make people behave better." Blizzard recently added a reporting feature on consoles that had been previously only available on PC. Kaplan also addressed the bad behavior on the Overwatch forums, and he said that Blizzard will soon start imposing harsher punishments like permabans for repeat offenders. We'll see if this turns things around, because at the end of the day, everyone wants new content instead of having to deal with crappy players. The comics creator Mike Mignola tweeted out a first look at David Harbour as the iconic character in the upcoming movie, and oh my god, he is demonically shredded. All Mignola himself could say was, "Holy crap." Same dude. The franchise reboot called Hellboy: Rise of the Blood Queen will be directed by Neil Marshall and also star Mila Jovovich and Ian McShane. It's scheduled to hit theaters in 2018 and hopefully will come out with some diet and workout tips, because like, did we mention he's shredded? If you're worried about the ending of Game of Thrones being spoiled, well, so are the show's producers. In an attempt to cut down on spoilers, they're shooting 2 endings to the season 8 finale. That way, not even the cast and crew will know for sure how the show ends. Wow, that's some convoluted nonsense. HBO programming boss Casey Bloys said, "You have to do that on a long show, because when you're shooting something, people know. So they're going to shoot multiple versions, so there's no real definitive answer until the end." We've seen this before on shows like The Sopranos and Breaking Bad, where the ending was highly anticipated and multiple scenarios were filmed. But we've still got a long way ahead of us. The final season of Game of Thrones isn't set to start production until next month, and it won't air until next year, or possibly even 2019. But hey, it'll be here quicker than the books. Since Spider-Man returned to Marvel's creative control in the movieverse, fans have been clamoring for the same thing to happen with 2 other major properties, Fantastic Four and XMen, which are both in the hands of Fox. However, one person thinks that both will soon be back in Marvel's hands: the great god Stan Lee. Stan Lee made these comments over the weekend at Wizard World Nashville, telling fans sooner or later they're going to get the rights back to all our characters. They're working on it, and they're still making X-Men movies and stuff, don't worry about it. You'll get more Marvel superheroes than you'll have time to look at in the next few years. Obviously, Stan Lee doesn't have much to do with the MCU besides his goofy little appearances, but it's interesting to see him so confident that this is on the move. Last we heard, Kevin Feige said earlier this year that they're not actively pursuing those rights, but Stan Lee made these characters, so you kinda gotta listen to him, right? Please? Well, that's all the news we have for you today, and remember, for more news from every corner of the internet, like this video and subscribe to the know, as well as more of a look at Pokemon. Straley made a major plate from his grandmother, Mildred Miller. According to the terms, Morhaime agreed to pay the loan back in $100 monthly installments. According to the terms, Morhaime agreed to pay the loan back in $100 monthly investments. God fucking damn it!